Another big apology because the leaf blowers are indeed outside my apartment doing the thing, and there are even more people outside with rakes who are scraping up the smaller leaves that have fallen because, it's fall, it's November. But, I'm kind of breaking my own rule here talking about this kind of topic on this day because, yes, the Montreal Canadiens do play in about 4 hours from now. They will play the Detroit Red Wings, and I will be watching some of that game, maybe tuning in, just switching back and forth, having it on in the background, just getting in what exactly my second and third favorite teams are going to be doing out there on the ice. But this video is not really a Canadiens video. No, let's get that out of your head right now. This is an LA Kings video, baby. I want the LA fandom back in this one for the comment section, and I want to see your thoughts because today we are talking about one of the best acquisitions, in the short term at least, for this LA Kings hockey club. Let's talk today about former Montreal Canadiens top-line center and overall play-driving, defensively-minded star PHILLIP DANAULT. Because my goodness, has PHILLIP DANAULT been incredible or what? Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, Lego, you're saying that PHILLIP DANAULT is doing really well in LA. How the heck is that even possible? You take a look at the point production and you see, oh, what the heck? He only has 3 points on the year. What do you mean this guy's doing well, Lego? Well, let me just explain. So, the LA Kings, if you take a look at the NHL standings right now, they are indeed one of the worst teams in the Pacific Division. They are in a 3-way tie for last place in this grouping. The Canucks have been pretty bad, and the Seattle Kraken have been even worse, so they are all in that tie for last in the Pacific. And if you take a look at the NHL in general, hey, the LA Kings, if you take a look at points percentage, they are in the bottom, 7 of the league? So yeah, not great. The LA Kings also, if you take a look at goals against, they are indeed in the top half. Actually, they're in the top, the top 11? No, it's the top 9 of the NHL's teams in goals against in a bad way. Or, bottom 9 in terms of goals against. So even though this is a team that actually has won 2 games in a row, they were 1-5-1 at one point earlier on in the season, there still are some pretty good things to cheer about, even if you're not really super hopeful that this team actually goes out there and makes the playoffs. And I wanted to refer to this article here on the HockeyWriters.com written by Austin Stanovich because he highlights in this piece just how good some of these players on the LA Kings have really been, and PHILLIP DANAULT has indeed been one of those. Now, this piece goes over the top 6 in general. It talks about the Arvidsson, Kopitar, Brown line, and how it's been pretty good. The only reason why it hasn't been good is because Arvidsson is out due to protocols. But when it comes to that second line, this is the line that I wanted to go over. Alex Iafallo, PHILLIP DANAULT, and Adrian Kempe. This line, statistically speaking, is the best possession line in the National Hockey League. And this weekend specifically is where we started to see the offense. The 3-2 game against the Buffalo Sabres was won because of a PHILLIP DANAULT takeaway, where he steals the puck in the neutral zone as the Sabres are trying to transition into LA territory. DANAULT with the steal, he sends it back over to his line mates. They come in, it's centered back over to Bjornfot, who finds the man in front. It is indeed that Alex Iafallo. And then you go over to the Montreal game. Okay, PHILLIP DANAULT gets himself an assist on the power play. Iafallo gets 2 goals on that one too. You're starting to see the offense come about with this second line over here between Kempe, Iafallo, and DANAULT. But when it comes to the statistics, my goodness, has this line been incredible. Like the writer here just mentioned, statistically, they're currently the best possession line in hockey. They're posting a 64.6% in both Corsi 4 and Fenwick 4, which actually is not a metric that I am exposed to all too much, but it is great to see, leading the league in both those categories. They're also 15th in expected goals for percentage with 54.9, which means that they're actually converting on the chances that they're getting, so much to the point that they're the 15th best line in general when it comes to converting on their expected goals chances. Their 5 goals at 5v5 is tied for 3rd best in the league, with their 4.5 expected goals for placing them 5th in the league. So they post the best possession numbers in the NHL and score at one of the highest rates, making them a dangerous line. Surprisingly, their 4 goals against place them 3rd worst in the league though. They're still a net positive, and the stats point to them being one of the best lines in the NHL. The next paragraph goes over what exactly makes this line so successful, and surprise, surprise, a big part of this line is PHILLIP freaking DANAULT. As we said, the guy doesn't score all too many points. He's only got 3 points in the past 9 games, and 2 of those points came in the previous 2 games. But just having him on your line adds so much defensive coverage and positive possession data. He is such an anomaly in that he does not really produce all too much, but there are so many aspects of his game, his 200-foot contributions, his face-off circle percentage, and all that. It's great. This article also highlights his puck protection and how he's very strong in the puck and he rarely loses battles in either zone. Defensively, he has come as advertised, always in the right position and active in helping out his defensemen. If you take a look at the JFresh player card right here for PHILLIP DANAULT and you analyze how exactly he has played from last season to this season plus last season, we did this with Seth Jones in the previous video, but PHILLIP DANAULT has indeed improved in every category so far, with the exception of the penalty kill and penalty categories. His wins above replacement is up there at 47%, making him just one of the barely below average players in the NHL, which doesn't sound right, but it's because the penalty kill and penalties and shooting percentage metrics are taken into great account in this total war analytic over here. But when you take a look at even strength play on offense and defense, PHILLIP DANAULT is one of the top percentile players in the league. In terms of even strength offensive production, PHILLIP DANAULT and his play, hey, he contributes to being a top 15 percentile player in the National Hockey League, because the way he is going out there and the way the team is able to create offense when he is on the ice, that's a very big distinction. I'm not saying that he's the guy who is catalyzing the offense. I'm saying that him being on the ice allows the other parts of his team to create offense instead. Also, for the defensive side, he has always been a very strong defensive presence in terms of shutting down opposition chances, and being in the top 1% of NHL players in this category is not uncharacteristic of Danault in the slightest. It's just penalty kill, penalties, and shooting, these categories being low because he doesn't really produce all too much, and he is always on the penalty kill, so anytime a penalty kill goal gets scored, it's gonna be on him, right? And besides, LA isn't really all that great of a team in general, so just having this as the template, it makes a lot of sense to me. It's just the WAR average in total is kind of skewed because the negative aspects are indeed negative, just as a product of circumstance in my opinion. But the bottom line is that even strength 5-on-5 play, PHILLIP DANAULT has been absolutely astounding for the LA Kings so far, and this is one of those guys when it's like, dude, what in the world did the Montreal Canadiens just give up? I'm not going to go out there and say that it was a mistake or whatever to not keep this guy, but the way things have gone about with the Montreal Canadiens this year, you're really starting to feel the effects of losing out on that Danault, Gallagher, and Tatar line, because even as JFresh notes in the reply to this PHILLIP DANAULT player card, the other two guys, PHILLIP DANAULT is great, Brendan Gallagher is still great, Thomas Tatar is pretty good too with the New Jersey Devils. So just seeing all of these guys go out there and get broken up, they were one of the best lines in the NHL the previous few seasons because of their talent. And now, having them all split up, you're seeing that talent diversify itself elsewhere. PHILLIP DANAULT just happens to be doing that with the LA Kings, with the Adrian Kempe and Alex Iafallo pairing that happened to be on his wings. And for the previous 2 games on the weekend against Montreal and against Buffalo, we really did start to see those offensive qualities start to showcase themselves off greatly. Don't get me wrong, Arvidsson, Dustin Brown, Kopitar have been great in producing. You can see Anze Kopitar on the highlight reel pretty much every game. I mean, okay, maybe not every game anymore. He had that 5-point game to kick off the year, but that was about it in terms of a high-chance game. But either way, you still have yourself some pretty diversified offense and strong overall play at the top of your lineup in the top 6. However, the bottom 6 for the Kings and the defense is not really the best, which is kind of why the Kings are not all too great in the standings right now. As we noted, tied for last place in the Pacific Division, definitely not great, especially with the talent you have up front. There are more things to improve and work on for this LA Kings team, but the top 6 guys on your forward core certainly are not one of them. I mean, I guess you could say, oh, Danault should score more goals, but come on. He's already doing so much, and plus, he already scored the biggest goal of his career on the night of Game 6 against Vegas, where he scored and eventually had a child after. So yeah, I had to throw that in there because it was a funny quote that was posted out there by, who is it, Arpon Basu? Montreal media, man, you gotta love him. Talk to me in the comments what do you think about PHILLIP DANAULT and his performance with the Kings so far. I hope you enjoyed this. And bye.